Hi everyone. So Pranav will be joining us soon. Hi Nandan. Hi Madhura. Hi.
Hello there, what's up? How are you?
I'm good.
Nandan, thank you so much for ditching us.
Don't say that. He's already feeling bad.
Look at the girlfriend having his back, which is very nice. Look at her having his back, which is very nice, which is very good, very good.
I wouldn't call it having his back. I mean, I was supposed to do the interview too. So, you know.
Yes, correct. That's true.
We'll just wait for some people and then we start in 2
Yeah,
minutes.
absolutely, absolutely.
So what's up? How's lockdown been so far?
It was really nice. I went for a good jog today.
Mm-hmm.
I ran really a lot. And I abnormally ran a lot today for some reason. I don't know why. It was really nice. My hair looks flat now. Just disgusting. I really should wear a cap. I should start wearing a cap.
How was the beach?
Shame. The
I
beach is
haven't been
cleaner.
much.
It's so much more cleaner than usual. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to people not being allowed there yet too much. After
Yeah.
after 7, they actually drive you off there. Like they absolutely shoo you off. It's like being shooed off from a crime scene or something like that. And to be honest, to witness so many couples over there, it is a crime scene to be very precise. They find niches and corners anywhere. Like you won't
even
even realize that there was.
even
Did you
during
get
lockdown.
seashells today also? Yes, I got seashells. I got a beautiful seashell. I kid you not. It's a really wonderful seashell that I got today. It's this big. It's this big. I mean, well, this doesn't sound exactly nice, but the seashell is big
Okay.
and it's white.
I
So
can't believe
yeah,
there are couples on the beach during the lockdown. I mean, isn't
people
it
are
like that?
just honestly, people are unbothered anymore. They are just getting over the fact that there is a virus prowling out there. They're just getting super comfortable. And I somehow feel that they are going to get even more comfortable after a point on time. It's going to happen something what happened to malaria and all the other viral disease infections.
Mm-hmm.
People just got very comfortable with it and they were like, fuck it, man. I mean, this exists. क्या ही कर लेंगे? So, so it's gotten like that for some reason. Arya is here. Wow. Hi, Arya. So nice. Arya is an amazing pianist. I absolutely love listening to her. Nehal is here. Karan is here. Oh my God, so many people from my account is here. I'm so happy. I'm
Wait.
really stoked. I love talking to all of them. I most often go
Mm-hmm.
live and I'm just ranting random shit, and they just listen to me very patiently. I don't know. I sometimes end up apologizing people for actually having to listen to my voice. It's
I don't go
hey
live on.
Devanshi. Devanshi is from my gym. Devanshi, I guess the gym is starting from 5th.
Devanshi is from my school. Hey, we have a common friend.
We have a common friend.
Yeah.
You, I mean, your boyfriend is also our common friend technically, but we
Mm.
have a lot of common friends to be honest, don't we?
When do you want to start? Let's just put a minute hold. Oh, Devanshi
Yeah.
says really. Yeah, really.
Yeah. They said that they are starting from 5th. I had a word with Ajay yesterday. He said
Mm-hmm.
सर ने कॉल किया था और चालू हो जाएगा शायद. तो अभी लगता है कि my boyfriend flipped. He was like, what if you get corona? I'm like, what? And I understand the concern.
Yeah.
He's just too sweet. You all should follow his art account. His art account is Sahil from Nature. It is amazing.
Okay.
His work is stunning. I'm just
So keep you
promoting my own
hyping him
people
up.
out here. Oh, I love hyping him up. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
my hair. Just excuse my hair. Guys, this is not gay culture. This is This is very normal when you do not know what to do with a lot of hair on your head,
Especially during the lockdown. Everyone's hair is
especially during lockdown. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Teju looking super excited. I not looking excited? What the hell? Even
you
I'm
are.
excited. I guess people are just perpetually assume that I am excited always because I'm always excited, to be precise. I'm always high on coffee. I don't even know if I'm high on coffee. It's my personality now. It's just in my blood.
Okay.
It's just there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you want to give everyone who doesn't know you, I mean, like an introduction?
Yeah, sure. So I am Pranav Kelkar and I am a classical vocalist, uh, uh, pastry chef, and also what else do I do? I do nothing else much in my life, to be honest. I'm a
Those
speaker.
are
I
really
speak
cool
a
things.
lot. Uh-huh.
Pastry chef and vocalist. I mean, what else do you need?
It's a weird combination altogether, yeah. And I did do Kathak for quite a while. I
Oh, you did?
paint, yes. I paint here and there a little bit. And so yeah, I'm more of everything in arts kind of a person. And my main profession is singing and pastry, to be very precise. And so yeah, and I am an LGBTQ speaker. I have spoken before this at a few colleges. I have spoken at Nagindas Khandwala. I remember it was
Mm-hmm.
one of my best lectures out there, and the students loved it. And it was for psychology students, so it was even weird because
How
I
did you
mean,
feel? Was that your first?
not exactly my first one, but it was weird because I was actually talking to people who know about things, and I was talking to them about the things they know. It was
Mm-hmm.
so weird for me, and
Okay,
I
so they
was
were
like,
all psychology
they
students.
were all psychology students. There were psychology professors sitting there,
Oh.
which was even worse because I mean, had there been a flying slipper or something on my face, I would have really not been taken aback. I would have been like, "Kachra kar
I'm
diya maine.
sorry. though.
I messed up."
Okay, oh my god, so we have 30 people here, yay.
Yes,
Cool. And more people joining in.
joining in, which is really nice.
I know. So, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
yeah.
Um, so we just give a disclaimer that Pranav, like, to everyone who's listening, this is his story, so it might not, reflect everyone's experiences. It's just like his personal experience. So yeah. Um, okay, so obviously we would like to start with your story. How was it all for you, right from the beginning?
So since the beginning, to be honest, I was to be very precise. Even in the school, those who know me from the school, I mean, Rucha knows me since my childhood now, and I have been someone who was extremely femme, who was fat, and who was into arts, you know. And to be honest, in the Indian society, this is not a very good combination to have for any guy, though it is the best combination to have for anyone. And had I been in a better place, I would have probably flourished a lot more than what I am now. Hi, Parth. Parth is here. Parth is going to listen to my story for the first time. That is
Oh,
nice.
really? A lot
So,
of people will be listening to your story for the first.
yeah.
That's
So
great.
technically, it was not the best thing that happened during that time. And I was always a loudmouth. I'm pretty much a shameless guy altogether. Since the very beginning, I barely cared about what people had to say because any which way they were laughing. I learned how to laugh on myself as well. I make amazing jokes on myself. As I said, I sometimes end up apologizing to the audience who comes to my concerts that they have to listen to me and they had to pay to listen to me, which is even worse. I mean, what a shame, right? so,
Yeah.
so technically, I am someone who was absolutely shameless. But yeah, I mean, slowly and steadily, and at an age, you don't really understand what to call it. What do we call that behavior? What do we call what is happening around you? So everything used to come down to crying. Like everything sums up to, oh, they are making fun of me, is what we would understand, anyone could understand. And slowly and steadily it got so ingrained. I was like, dude, whatever I do. Even men do art. Men are amazing at art. I kid you not. I have few of the best people in art who are men, and they are doing stunning. And it's I even see it now. I even see the discrimination now when anyone uploads something on art and anyone is doing really good with dance or something of that sort. There are comments which are
There
so
are.
disgraceful. I mean, it's a shame calling them a part of the society anymore, for the ones who are being homophobic or those who are considering that art is just limited to a gender. It's absolutely disgusting. It
Yeah.
cannot be. And perhaps art was the only thing that kept me at peace, to be very honest. I was always revered for being an artist since the very beginning. Apart from everything else on this earth, I was first revered for being a very good artist. I was always revered for being a singer. I was very revered for being very good with my paintings. And that is what actually gave me the entire strength. I came out in at the age of 20. Yeah, at the age of 20, to my mom. Not the best thing that happened in my life, because the things seem to be going downhill after that, you know. And so yeah, but then they came up to the acceptance, and they had to, rather, because that is how I am. I put my foot down most often, and that is what I usually end up doing. I put my foot down when I take a stand. I take a stand, and that's how it works. Always for me. Is how it has always worked for me. But unfortunately, not everyone can be that
Everyone.
privileged. Everyone cannot do that, and if, sometimes things can go really out of hand, really out of hand. So, like my boyfriend ended up saying a few days back, he's like, "This is not the time to go rouge. You gotta be a little careful about what you do and what you say," which is a fact, and I never really realized that. And that's when I say he helps me grow. He helps me think a lot more than what I usually otherwise would. Is in these manners, he instigates a thought. He makes me think something more than otherwise what I would. So technically, that is how it all began. And it's been 4 years I have come out to my family. uh, Not a dinner table discussion in our
Yeah.
house, but definitely not something that they would hold against me, which happens to a lot of them. I say this
Has it been
because
that way with time? Like, did
yes,
it
it
take
has
it?
it has been that way with time. It has been that way with time. It happened over a certain period of time. It took a long time, trust me. The first year was absolutely a disaster. Absolutely a disaster, because nothing seemed to work. And when something like that happens, you want it to work. You are forcing that why I want them to understand.
Yeah.
Some things take time, is what I realized. And yes, it was a learning process. The entire year was a learning process. And one thing that I learned during that time was that my sexuality does not define me. It defines no one. It is your confidence, your art, your way of putting yourself out there is what absolutely determines how you're going to be treated ahead in the society. But that does not imply that you hide your you know personality or your existence. Never, never. The moment you hide it is when people realize that, okay, he's insecure about it. And when you're insecure about something, trust me, they will make fun of it for the rest of it, unless and until you come across as a really strong person to them. Every problem loses its intensity. I always say this: it loses its intensity and its power the moment you start speaking against it. Silence about anything is usually the most uh, instigating thing for a problem, for a injustice to grow. If it is not addressed, it will remain there. It's like a seed. You drop it in the ground. Unless and until it's a bad seed, you don't step on it, you don't destroy it, it is going to continue to grow, because people will keep on watering it knowingly or unknowingly. That's when people, when they come up and say, Carrie Minati ne to kuch nahi bola tha, itne log bolte hain. नहीं, Even a general person, even a person on the street calling someone meetha, chakka, hijra, whatever, just because a person is femme, the person needs to be stopped. He needs to be put in his place. Though it is not something that is degradable. I would not personally take someone calling me a hijra as an insult. Why should I? It's as good as calling someone a human, right? I mean, it is some calling someone a human. Why should I take it as an insult? But calling it in a derogatory manner, किसी there are a lot of slangs we use, एक माँ का होगा तो आके मार के दिखा. गुस्सा आता है ना. The reason is, though everyone knows everyone is out of one mother itself, you cannot be half born from two places and then joined as body, but the reason, the use of certain things in a derogatory manner, which has helped an injustice or a certain mentality to grow, that is where you need to put a stop to it. And this is the time we put a stop to it, because we have voice this time, currently, in the
Currently, we do.
21st century. We have social media, we have the way to stand up to ourselves. My mom tells me, she didn't have the power to stand against her parents. No one had the power to stand against their parents or anyone elder in the society back
Yeah.
then.
So, how would
you
you say
know
social medias helped the community as a whole, or just you?
it has given an expression. Social media is an expression. See, the best thing about social media is you're not there in front of the person, right? So you're safer.
Yeah.
You're at least in your safe zone, and you can express the best during that time. You're expressing from the comfort. I mean, right now I'm sitting in my shorts with a very comfy t-shirt and with a pillow on my lap. I don't think I would be this comfortable speaking in a college or in public gathering, because I would be in a different mindset during that time. This
And
is
you're
what
still
social
able
media
to
does.
be in your comfort zone and inspire people. So, like, that's
Yes,
amazing.
it absolutely inspires people. That is when I say that, and in the same context, I always say, never hide your inner personality or your personality, because that is the first thing you're born with. That is
Yeah.
something that you come with. If you can get comfortable in an environment over a period of time after being born, which you are not even born in. Otherwise, अगर वहीं पे रहना होता तो हॉस्पिटल में ही रहना पड़ता था. Because that's the first place I saw in my life, right? I mean, I'll have to stay in the hospital because I'm comfortable in that place completely. This is where you can relate you know, the behavior with your existence, your regular existence, and that is essential rather. Though it cannot be your only expression, it should not be your only expression. Certainly, sexuality is not your complete identity, but it is a major part of you. It is something that you should not have to hide, and that is where I speak about the privileges, right?
Okay.
The hetero privilege, when I say, it is as basic as getting to contact your partner. None of the heterosexuals have to deal with that. They don't have to be afraid about that.
No one is aware about this, nor does anyone acknowledge their hetero privilege. I feel
They
like.
do not acknowledge the hetero privilege, because the moment, again, because it's a problem. When you start speaking about the problem loses its intensity, and then there is a wave of change that happens. None of them want to lose their privilege, right?
Yeah.
Technically, billionaires should not exist. It is a privilege that very few get bestowed upon, and they keep on exploiting the other people to be able to grow with it, right? So, but it is a problem now that people are speaking about it. People are actually, it's like a ground shaking thing, which
Yeah.
should be, and it is happening, and people are afraid. People are afraid of being called out. People are afraid of being told that this is wrong. And that is what will continue to happen as long as you speak about a problem. And that is what happens even with the hetero privilege. The moment you tell them, dude, you are saying this because you're privileged enough to be able to say this. So someone tells me, why don't you tell about your boyfriend to everyone? I'm like, I will when he's comfortable with it. It is not my deal. It is
Yeah.
not my job to out him. It
Yeah.
is not my job to create a problem for him. It is no one's
It's his
authority.
story.
It's his
Yeah.
story. It is his life. It is his journey. My deal over there is to stand by him. And my deal is to walk by him, be a pillar, be a support whenever needed. Whenever not, I'm a cheerleader for him. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And That's how I guess it should be for
Yeah,
everyone. When it comes to being able to uh, call out a privilege of any sort, specifically hetero privilege, it can even be wearing whatever you want. As a
of course.
heterosexual, even if I would have worn a crop top, I don't think my parents would have ever bothered. Very honestly, they get bothered now because, oh, you are acting gay, is literally what happens. I don't know how many heterosexuals have
Let's
had to
talk
go
more
through
about
something like
that,
this.
right? Like the stereotypes and like how they affect you or the community as a whole.
See, as a part of the community, a stereotype always helps in feeding more and more stereotypes. It is like a wave of jokes that happens. And it is a shame that it happens, and it still happens in the society. It's horrible to even witness that. So a stereotype, let's take a basic stereotype as that a man should not dance.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't they dance? I mean, you would have lost out on so many good artists otherwise. Don't you think so? Pandit Birju Maharaj, that entire lineage of it, I mean, they are stunning dancers, and they are as straight as it can get.
So many of our top choreographers in the country.
Choreographers are men, and
Yeah,
they are doing amazing, trust
they're
me.
doing
And
amazing.
connecting an art, connecting a color, connecting a race, connecting a behavior, connecting clothing to a gender is probably the lowest a humanity can get.
And it's all inflicted by the hetero
By the
privilege.
heterosexuals. It is
Yeah.
absolutely by the heterosexuals, trust me. And I blame them for it. I blame them for it. I mean, I won't even say that I would, subtly request them to. No, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to do it, because you were born with the privilege of being able to express yourself the way you want just because of your sexuality. Taking that away from someone is a shame. It's a disgust. And when someone calls you out for it, then you end up calling them chakka, hijra, whatever. And I don't know how that is derogatory, even. I absolutely don't understand how that is derogatory.
Do you
Uh,
think we need to normalize these words so they stop
we
being
need to
insulting?
normalize these words, yes. And we need to normalize these words in a context that they are not derogatory. They are not supposed to be derogatory, because it's as good as calling someone by their identity. The reason why Carrie Minati was called out, and it was absolutely ludicrous of him to have even said those things, was because it was feeding the homophobia. Had he said it in a context of normalizing it, he would have been revered. He would have absolutely been praised for it. But first of all, calling homosexuals as homosexuality as a means to create content, in the first place, someone's sexual identity cannot be a means to produce
Yeah.
content. It cannot be. It is not a form of entertainment for anyone. It should not be. Why keep it as a form of entertainment? Is it
No
even
one makes
necessary?
someone's heterosexual identity or content. So
Identity as a part of entertainment, right? I mean, यार क्या मर्द की तरह चलता है, तू मर्द होके, ऐसा तो कभी नहीं किसी ने कहा ना आज तक। तो वो जिस दिन बंद होगा, उस दिन तो काफी चीजें अच्छी हो जाएंगी। एंड ट्रस्ट मी, the stereotypes have taken away a lot of people's childhood. It has taken a lot of people's adulthood. It has taken a lot of people's expression away. It has also taken a lot of people's lives. The basic reason why any form of privilege should be taken away, any form of privilege should be completely broken down and destroyed, is because a privilege means a person is growing with his power. Accumulation of power is basically privilege, is what I feel, right? And whenever there is accumulation of power in a spot with a person, it always gives rise to discrimination and discrepancies. And the discrepancy and the discrimination that we see right now with the homosexuals, and among the heterosexuals, and within the homosexual community, within the LGBTQ plus community as well, is absolutely blasphemous. It's horrible.
can you talk about the LGBTQ movement as a whole? Like, What
Yes.
your
So
perspective?
LGBTQ is an umbrella. It's an umbrella term for people of all the sexualities, to be precise, those who are not identifying as cis heteros. And so it is basically that the community as a whole is huge, to be precise, and it actually serves as a shelter, as an umbrella for everyone who wants to be identified as something but is not being able to, which does not include pedophiles. This has been a horrible movement that is happening in America right now. Pedophiles are trying to be a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Pedophilia is crime, hands down. It is without a person's consent. It is with a kid. It cannot be, and it should not be, right? And it usually is something that has been started being spoken about recently. It has it has its ground in America. LGBTQ, see, there it comes. It started with a black trans woman having actually fought against this. Marsha P. Johnson was the lady's name, and she was the one who threw a brick at the police officer for harassing homosexuals, and that is where the movement started from. The Stonewall riots was something that was an iconic movement for everyone, and the Pride Parade is something that is carried out for this one particular thing. It is to honor the entire movement. It is to honor how it has grown and gotten here right now. Whatever comfort we as a part of the community speak with right now is all owing to them. It is not owing to us. We barely we barely saw the riots, we barely saw it. And what happened in Orlando was one of it. What we saw, what we, you know, experienced, and it was as horrible as it can get. It gets worse every single time. See, I tell you one thing: one person dies of the community, and it's the entire community that is shaken, and that is how it should be.
Yeah, that's how it
the
should
the
be.
big the biggest problem with heterosexuals is they never had to form a community apart from the caste or religion or creed. So they never really understood what it is to actually have someone die regardless of their gender, color, caste, creed, anything. We understand that, we know what it is, and we know what kind of problems are faced normally in your daily your daily activities. To be honest, you get down on the street, and if you're a man walking like a female, I don't know what is walking like a female, but what the stereotypical way of people saying it is, I kid you not, there will be so many eyes looking at you, making you feel uncomfortable. You would want to pick up whatever the hell you want to pick up out of the market and just get the hell back home, because you are uncomfortable. You are made to feel uncomfortable. It is as good as women feeling uncomfortable in, when
Public.
men are looking at them, and it's in a public place. It's horrible. It's absolutely ludicrous. And imagine having to deal with it every single day with your basic most activities, basic most shit.
Just like going to
And
buy something.
you end up confining yourself to your own space, and then people are like, oh, if you don't come out to people, how will people understand? I don't want people to understand if they are not ready to understand. It is not my is it someone's job to make someone understand that, oh, there are people who exist, who love their own gender. Why should I sit and why should I even have to sit and explain this to
Why
people?
do you have to explain? Yeah.
I mean, is it of anyone's concern that who I share my my bedroom with or my bed with? None of them should be concerned, to be honest. And the amount of fear that they have, नहीं हाँ, वो लड़की की तरह बर्ताव करता है, उसके साथ खेलने मत जाना. I have heard this as well. As a child, I have even heard this.
This is specifically, not specifically, but this is seen a lot in Indian society.
Yes, yes,
Very
yes,
much. As
it
it is,
is.
we're so judgmental and it's just,
I mean, to an extent wherein I used to come back home and cry to my mom. So, why don't they let me play with them? Why don't they let me play in? Like, well, no one had an explanation back then. I was told to start acting manly. Well, I got manly, but then people are afraid of me now. I can't help it. There are no rules and safety in IPC section. There are none. There are none. Even with the Trans Act, the biggest problem is if a cisgendered woman, heterosexual woman, is raped, is has faced sexual harassment, the uh, the what we say, the imprisonment can be up to 7 years, and it can be taken up to life imprisonment depending on the intensity of the crime. However, with a trans woman, if it is about sexual harassment, the imprisonment is just 6 months. It is as though they are not humans. It is as though, and the ones who are passing the law are not transgenders. They have no clue what the problems are.
We've never seen like actual visual representation in our Indian, like in the
Exactly. I
law.
mean, the defense minister is not from the defense background. The economic minister is not from the economics background. The prime minister is not from someone, from humanities or political sciences background. There is no one who is actually making the laws, who have faced the problem firsthand. Unless and
Yeah.
until you go out there, you face the problem. Subramanyam Swami sitting there and telling convergent, they should be treated. How the hell do you know they should be treated? It is a shame. It is absolutely ludicrous to actually ask someone to, take treatment for their sexuality. And how is it affecting the society? In no manner. It is just making the society more inclusive. So does it mean that we are afraid of uh, progression by calling it westernization? ये तो हमारे culture में नहीं है. In fact, our culture depicts it. Technically speaking, Hindu mythologies have the the most evident evidences of homosexuality.
Yeah, recently there was this article going around on Instagram about uh, representation in like Hindu mythology. Have you
Yeah,
seen that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, those who are those who call uh, someone a hijra or something of that sort, mind you, they technically can be um, you know a lineage of Shikhandi who
Yeah.
fought a battle, who fought
Thought
a
about it.
goddamn battle. Britishers messed up everything indeed, but Britishers were smart enough. They knew how the society can be, they knew how it can be tweaked and turned against their own
Turned
people.
against.
You
Exactly.
know, for them it was never a problem. They went
They
back and they changed
devil's
the law for
advocate.
themselves.
Yeah.
They changed the law for themselves. They our society is more like, Britishers का Western culture का कुछ मत लेना. कपड़े the Western culture से कपड़े ले लो. You take their music, you take their art, you take their, no, you don't take their thought. It's such a shame you don't take their thought, because at a point on time they developed. Though they changed the society, though they actually created a lot of havoc for a lot of countries, they went back and changed it in their own country. That is, you should see how a person behaves in his own house to understand if he practices what he preaches outside his house.
Outside. It starts at home. Everything
It
starts at
starts
home.
at home,
Yeah. And even
right?
the fact that they call it, oh, this is like Western thinking, that in itself is an insult. How can you
Man,
call
that's an
someone
insult. I mean,
identity?
anything progressive is Western thinking.
Yeah. How
Anything you tell them, or you know what, it is not necessary for someone to cover their entire body constantly, because it just is their own call, right? It's their own choice. और तुम तो बड़े वेस्टर्न, तुम तो अंग्रेजी झाड़ने लग गए हो, is the first thing you'll hear. ये सब दक्षिण से आए हुए विचार हैं. I don't get it, because just because, and technically, let me tell you one thing. uh, until the Britishers came in, there was no concept of blouse in India. The
yeah.
white men were intimidated and rather aroused by the brown skin, the women in this country, and that
If
is
you see
when,
old paintings and
yes,
sculptures and
yes,
all of that, it's everywhere. Like, I mean, who, like, it's silly to me that revealing skin is a Western concept.
Exactly. See, anything that cannot be justified for them is a Western
It's
concept.
just a Western concept. It's foreign, you know. It's
Yes, and most often, most of the things that are written or spoken about, you see there are these gurus and all of these guys. There are no people from philosophy background, or there are no people from history background who are coming and talking about it. It is these babas and swamis and sadhus and all of these guys talking. "ये homosexuality बहुत बड़ा पाप है, समलैंगिक संबंध रखना बहुत बड़ा पाप है." It is something that they can feed the society with, right? They are just trying to follow the herd. They are just trying to go where the sheep can be taken to the slaughter the best way, right? They don't
right.
want to lose out on their sheeps. No one wants to. No shepherd wants to lose out on his sheeps, right?
Yeah, they
So
don't want to. Yeah, there.
they'll always
Attentive with
try
them.
them out.
Yeah.
Yes. So technically they'll feed something that is already existing in the society, and that is how they'll actually want to develop it for the rest of it, which is horrible. But however, I mean, it's ridiculous. Who wear tattoos, wear no blouse, and cover only one. Exactly, exactly. See, I mean, there are actual evidences of it. People just do not want to see it. People want to act blind. People want to act. हमें तो पता ही नहीं था ये ऐसा होता है.
Okay, so let's talk about so all of this, um, like as a whole, how much effect it has on your mental health, yours and in general as a community.
Terribly a lot. See, you see a lot of suicide cases. You see a
Of course.
lot of suicide cases. There are a lot of male rape cases as well, who do not get to speak, who do not have any place to speak out at. Police station mein jaoge, you go to the police station and the police actually will end up asking you such ridiculous questions. You would not want to answer them after a point on time. You'll dread answering them, which is a fact, and it is as horrible as it sounds.
And up until like 2 years ago, since it wasn't legal, you couldn't even go to the police
You
station. Like,
couldn't even go to the police station.
yeah.
It and then they will invade your privacy. They'll actually end up checking your phone, and oh, तुम तो सबको अपने photos भेजते थे तो ऐसे ही होना है. This is what the entire problems are. It is all here, and when such problems happen, they actually affect you mentally to an extent wherein you can you can lose your entire expression at a point on time, which is a horrible thing to happen to anyone. I kid you not. Seeking therapy is not accessible for everyone. Psychologist के पास जाना अभी भी in India, if you tell your parents or your peers that I want to go to the psychologist, I want to see a therapist, they'll end up calling you retard, which is the first thing that happens, and which is absolutely ridiculous, because imagine having to grow up in such a manner that you cannot express yourself the way you want to. You constantly are hiding, you constantly are acting, and you have to, because that's the safest for you to do, which I guess sums up how horrible it must be for a person who goes to this school. Imagine having to go to learning how to hide your inert nature from the school, from the childhood,
Yeah.
because someone thinks it is wrong and you are at a threat. No, I don't think anyone can threaten me anymore, because for the simple idea that if they try threatening me, they'll probably end up losing their jaw or something of that sort, because I'll beat back. I'll absolutely beat back. Someone tries saying something to my boyfriend, I'll hit the person back. Someone tries saying anything to anyone from my community, I will absolutely bash the person left, right, and center. If not beat up, I'll at least call them out. This and this entire rage, this entire few the anger, the agony, the pain, everything is because of the mental pressure that a person faces. A person does not retaliate for no
What
reason.
does it manifest into? Like this pressure. So does it manifest into like depression, anxiety? Like
It
what
does
exactly?
manifest into extreme depression. It manifests into personality disorders as well, to a very very large extent. It is that is what needs to be treated, rather, I mean, I sometimes end up saying that if you want to cure anything about the homosexual the LGBTQ community, get rid of homophobia. That's the best thing. that will
Yeah.
that will cure everything. That will cure everything for everyone, because no one will have to face problems after that.
No one will
Technically,
have to hide anything.
no one will have to hide anything. No one will have to behave a different way just to be safe in the society. No one will have to think 10 times, oh ये क्या करेगा मेरे को, या फिर ये क्या करेगा मेरे को. करना ही नहीं पड़ेगा ना.
Yeah.
There are still books who do not, which there are school books which do not talk about LGBTQ community at all, which do not talk about mental health and
No,
what.
I have not seen a single book talk about in my like 10th standard, 12th standard.
None of them. None of
None
them.
of it. Even in our medical syllabus, as I'm becoming a doctor, in our syllabus itself, there's nothing. But
They,
we as students are trying to make it happen. So
and
we as
and the worst
students are
part is,
trying
even
to
if you go
educate
and
us.
ask them, like, what I came across this article and what does it mean, they would not want to answer. They would want to brush it under the carpet. Mental health has been that way, and when it comes to, it's like two stigmas together, for the society. Like,
Yeah.
मतलब,
And
कभी
each
कभार तो
individual is difficult to accept for society.
yeah, I mean, I sometimes end up thinking, if I would have had to tell my mom that I want to go to a therapist, she would have probably reacted to pagal bhi hai aur gay bhi hai. you know which is it's a very horrible combination to have for the Indian society. If you want to actually give them a small mini heart attack or something of that sort, you should tell them, I want to go to a psychiatrist. They'll absolutely be shaken. And that is how that is how horrible the conditions on the ground are. And this is what I talk just about India. I wouldn't even imagine what it must be in UAE or Gulf countries.
Yeah,
Horrible.
the Middle East.
Horrible. I mean, honestly speaking, imagine being in such mental pressure constantly that I fear that my boyfriend or me could get attacked someday or the other, or someone may say something which can affect us mentally, which can break us down. एंजाइटी तो होती है, एंजाइटी तो हर चीज़ में होती है आजकल, because how you walk is a problem, how you talk is a problem, how your hair is a problem, how your skin is a problem, how
What you
your
are is a problem.
yeah, what you are is a problem, your existence is a problem, and you still have to survive, because they'll end up saying, uh, uh, I want him to speak to me than resorting to a book or a website to solve his issues. Which
Oh,
makes a lot
she
of sense, yes, but then getting access to a person to be able to speak to is also a very tough thing. It's a very tough thing. Trust me. Seeking therapy is, again, a privilege which is bestowed upon very few.
okay.
Be it in terms of being able to accept that you need to seek therapy, or be it about being able to go out there and pay for it. Though no service should be for free, but I'm sure that there would be some or the other ways to, you know, get a way out for it. There should
Yeah, I
be.
mean, plugging our NGO here, we are, to whoever's
Exactly.
watching, we offer free counseling with certified psychologists, psychiatrists. So just literally just email us, DM us, message us, and you have an appointment in like the next hour. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to pay. You don't have to get permission from anyone. Just go for it. It'll be the best thing you do personally, in my
Most people lack education on public feelings and emotional tolerance. They absolutely do. What they think is, first of all, emotions are, again, they are attached to one particular gender. Men cannot uh, have emotions. Men cannot cry. Men cannot feel pain. Men cannot feel happy. Or you are too happy to be a guy. Or you're are you man enough if you're laughing that loud? Are you man enough if you're sitting with your legs crossed? It's a disgust. It's a shame. And it's horrible, because people, and it has been ingrained. Where did the
yeah.
comments go? The comments disappeared.
No. I've just like muted them for two
Oh,
minutes so you can talk because
yeah.
that's
So
people.
technically what happens is, be, being an emotive person, it it also affects you mentally a lot, because you cannot show your emotions, you cannot showcase your emotions out there, you know. You cannot show pain, which is a basic most emotion. लग जाता है तो अरे तो गिरा ही है ना, लड़की की तरह रो मत. Missing, even if you are missing someone, you cannot really cry. क्या लड़की की तरह रोता है यार, is, and it is used in a derogatory manner. Even लड़की की तरह
Yeah, that
is
sentence is
used in a
heavy. Like
very
crying like
derogatory
a
manner,
girl,
which is,
लड़की की तरह रोता है. It's
no, but
speaking like a
I
girl,
actually saw
all
a
of that.
13-year-old guy the other day abusing a friend of his over his mom and dad, and actually saying मैंने हाथ में चूड़ियां पहन के रखी हैं क्या, तू अगर मारेगा तो मैं भी मार सकता हूँ. These were the words. 13-year-old guy. So I actually ended up telling her, there was this lady who was standing over there, and she was a Rajasthani lady. So I just went up to her. I was like, तूने जो अभी बोला ना, वो जो आंटी वहाँ पे खड़ी हैं, उनके हाथ में भी चूड़ियां, और वो इतना जोर से झापड़ मार सकती है ना तुम्हें, कि दोनों गाल एक साथ आ जाएंगे दूसरी बाजू में, तो वो तो कहना ही मत. And this is what we are brewing in the society, and this is what creates the actual problem, you know. What does, when you ask me, what does this mindset create in the society, how is the latter effect of it? This is the latter effect of it. This is actually what it gives rise to.
And I mean, the education is absent in our
It's
judicial system.
absolutely not
It's
present
absent in
because,
the place where we go to learn in schools and colleges. It's not, the mentality is not there in most homes. No one is being taught that by their parents. It's nowhere. So
and I mean, parents would rather end up telling कि वो उसके साथ खेल मत, वो बहुत लड़की की तरह बात करता है. Because, and honestly, this was in my society as well, it was in my school as well. School life has been miserable, and I kid you not, for most of the homosexuals out there, for most of the people who actually identify under the LGBTQ plus community, the school life has been miserable. It has been miserable, and it did make people grow up faster than what they should have, because they did not have a choice but to stand up for themselves. They had to grow up for themselves. Having to feel that I am supposed to be my best company is something that people do at the age of 20, when they have their first heartbreak, or someone leaves them and shit like that. We had to do it in our childhood when we were in the school, which is horrible, which is something that no one should have to go through.
I'll quickly just see if there are any more questions.
Yeah.
We um,
Also, there is a lot of discrimination among the community, to be very honest.
community.
Within the community.
Okay.
If you go through any sort of gay dating app, be it Tinder, be it Grinder, be it Bumble, any one of them, femmes stay away, chub guys stay away, only tall guys, only built up. Your community in itself is a tiny ass piece within this entire bloody world, and then you end up having discrimination among it. It is ludicrous, you know. That is again a part of the privilege. It is again being very cisgendered in this manner. It is horrible, and it needs to be addressed. I won't be able to address it in a 1 hour long session, of course. I mean, I'll probably have to have 1 hour session with each of these pointers, because there is so much to
There's
speak
so
about
much.
it. There is so much of, because the suppression has been over years. The suppression has been over, ever since this entire freedom fight happened, and we got the freedom. Only heterosexuals got the freedom. We got freedom a few years back, when the law was scraped off
That's around 2 years ago.
two
It's
years
not.
ago. And which is even, what is even more horrible is, only the law was scraped out. There is no education about it.
Yeah.
People are absolutely unaware about
Textbooks,
it.
textbooks, syllabus, everything is still the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they
Image.
won't change it, because it see, a progressive society is a threat to a lot of people out there who are making money out
Exactly.
of people's
Exactly.
uneducation,
Exactly.
right? So that is the
Progress.
reason. And the ones in power are the ones who are actually the privileged ones. The ones in the power are the actual ones who are afraid that people
And they are
should
the
not get
social
educated.
yeah.
And the
Right.
moment people will get educated, it will be over for them. It will be done for them. They won't have a way to make money out of that,
We have a long,
which
long
which
way.
is, we have a very long way to go. And you know what, the way would be much easier if it is more spoken about, it is put out there, it is, you know, given back in the face, which is necessary. Not everyone can do it, I understand that, but be crisp with your things, right? Be crisp with your replies. Do not give in to hate, because that's what hate does, that's what fear does. You are afraid of something, people will keep on sniffing it. People who are privileged, who are in a better place, will always try and put you down. It's a shame, it is a shame, I understand that. And I went through it, I still go through it sometimes. But the moment I have myself put out there, trust me, there will be, there is barely anyone who can have a word otherwise against me.
Your
They
confidence
won't.
is really something like
I,
it's
I,
something
I
to emulate from.
that is also something that I had to learn. Being confident is something I had to learn. I was only confident and limited to the stage. You know, I would go on the stage, sing there, come back, and be in my whole valor and everything. Where I never thought I would have had to be confident in the regular life to voice my existence, which is tough. But then what's tough is also what gets you the best rewards, right? And it gets you the best of the things. I got the best partner, to be honest. He supports, he hypes me up, he gives me the correct advice. What else can a person ask for? Someone to, I got my parents who talk to me about something, if there is something wrong. Maybe not just about the sexuality, but they do talk to me, and which is nice, which is absolutely brilliant. Which is, I got my music, I got my art. I can sing whenever I'm not feeling well. I sing.
You can express yourself
I
through
can
your dance.
express myself in ways and manners which a lot of people, people are limited to one language. Sometimes they are bilingual, they are multilingual, they are polyglots and everything. I am a polyglot as well as a classical singer. I have an extra language that I know, language of music. I can sing and express things, which is which is brilliant.
Okay, so one final thing that I want to ask you is, as allies of the community, um, how can we do better? A, and also any words of advice or any tips that you see we're doing wrong, maybe some sort of approach that is wrong. So how can we correct that? Those two things.
See, first of all, do not make it sound like it is something different. First thing first, make a person feel comfortable. Everyone wants to feel comfortable in whatever they are doing, in whatever place they are. So if you realize someone is gay, let him be. Someone is a part of the LGBTQ community, let him be. Reacting, oh my god, you have a boyfriend? No, unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. Apart from which, do not out anyone, even by mistake. Even by mistake, never out anyone. As it's a journey of their own. It is their time, it is their moment. Be by them in
Recently,
case they ever.
the makeup artist Nikki Tutorial, she was,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, someone tried to out her. People
yes,
try to do that
yes.
a lot for people who
People
are
try to do
gay.
that a lot
Yeah, because
because
they
they are
think
like
that,
confident हो तो क्यों नहीं बोल सकते, क्यों
yeah,
नहीं बोल सकते, क्योंकि कॉन्फिडेंस कई जगह पे नहीं दिखाना होता है. It doesn't really come to us that easily, you know, because as my boyfriend had told me a few days back, it is not the time to go rogue. It cannot. You need to, pull the leash a little bit on yourself when it comes to that. So that's the reason. And if someone wants to come out, they will come out. They won't need a person to help them out with it.
it's
You
their
know,
story to tell.
it's their story to tell, and it is their time. I always say this, it is their time. Leave it to them. So as allies, that is one of the biggest things. As allies, realize the community is not having a gay best friend. The community is not having a trophy boy to flaunt. Or, I have a gay best friend who knows really good makeup. Or, he has really good nails, he can do really good nails. It is not your trophy
That's
to
a line
flaunt.
that's used very commonly. I've
It
heard
is
it myself
it is a
too.
horribly common thing
Also
to
due to the
think.
influence of like movies that
Ah,
really show that whole stereotype. It really
I swear,
goes.
that is a stereotype that I hate Karan Johar for that one thing. He had one chance of doing good in Dostana, and that is what he created. Like, he would have actually contributed to such a huge thing back then, but
And he
that
couldn't use
is
his
what went.
influence. He couldn't use his influence, his position.
He never used it. He
He never
never
used.
used it.
So many people who have the chance, who have that chance
Absolutely,
to influence people
absolutely.
in the right way, and they don't.
Do you see any of these movie stars going for a pride parade and actually holding up the LGBTQ
Never
flag?
seen.
None of them. They would not. They would not.
They're again afraid of like losing viewers,
They
losing.
are afraid of losing viewers. They are also, there are a lot of them who actually end up thinking, क्या जरूरत है यार? It is nothing special. It maybe it is not something special, but it is also not something that is revered well. It does not go down well with a lot of people. It is something that has these are the people who have faced suppression. Anyone who is suppressed should be stood by. Anyone who is suppressed uh, for nothing that's wrong with them should be stood by. They should be stood by. And the moment people will understand that will be the moment there will be a lot of changes. One minister in the parliament who is vocal about being a part of the LGBTQ community. I kid you not, the entire parliament will be shaken. The entire parliament will be shaken. One voice. You won't need anyone to fight the cases for you. You won't need anyone to get on the streets. You won't need people to even commit a suicide. You'll just need one person in that place which creates the laws and rules and
Person in
everything.
500 people. One person in
Yes,
the room
one
for.
person in 500 people. One person, not more than that. It will absolutely steal the grounds of people's feet, and all of them sitting there, all of them. Because the youth does not have a voice that can reach there, right?
Yeah.
We are still shouting on the streets, we are still shouting at the authorities on the ground level. Where
We're
is the
still too
authority there?
just it's like Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah,
just nothing. Yeah.
it was not straights who lodged who filed a case against the IPC section 377. It was Ritu Dalmia, it was Nas Foundation, it was Ritu Dalmia's wife who did it. Ritu Dalmia, no one speaks about Ritu Dalmia. Ritu Dalmia is one of the biggest chefs in the world. She's called the Italian diva. We are proud to be a part of the restaurant community, fraternity, as well as the LGBTQ community. It is that strong of a thing. It was not straights who did it. It was not heterosexuals who stood by us. It took everyone to gather the bits and pieces of confidence of their own, put it out there, and then put it at the law. It was as good as throwing a brick at the law. And that is when I say one person in the parliament, one person in the house, it will shake the entire parliament. It will change
That
the
applies to
entire
the
scene.
society as well, right? One person with progressive thinking have the power to influence.
Absolutely, absolutely. It will serve as a voice for so many out there. And the moment it happens, it'll be that will be an iconic moment too. Trust me. I to the expect a cake from me then.
We have okay, this is our last minute. So I just wanna thank you so much. This was
It was my
personally
pleasure.
it was like it educated me so much, like personally, and I'm sure for all our viewers too. And honestly, like I sound cheesy, but it was really inspiring. Like really.
So much. Thank you so much.
So
It
I
was
would like
my
really like
pleasure.
to do this again sometime. And yeah,
Definitely. This is gonna be, we will do this again on a topic specific one.
on
That'll
a
be,
topic. Yeah,
yes.
everyone can tell us what topic they want, and Pranav is ready. So
Always.
always. Okay, so I'll just turn off the comments for like the last turn on the comments for the last 10
Yes.
seconds. So thank you for tuning in,
Thank you
guys.
so much everyone, for all of them who stood by, who stuck by, and meet me now. Yes, I will meet you now.